Welcome back. This is a series of videos focused on asynchronous JavaScript. You can find the links to the other videos in the description. In this video, we'll be learning about callback functions and how to apply them in day-to-day programs. I've made a new folder for this video. You can find all the code on GitHub, link in description. So let me make a new file called 1.js. Callbacks are the oldest way to write asynchronous code in JavaScript, and they're pretty bad, to be honest, but it's still used. It's very frequently used, so you have to learn it regardless. And I'll show you why it's bad in a moment. From our previous example, const fs equal to require fs.write file, the name of the file, let's say callback example.txt. The text content that you want to put, this is an example of a callback. So far it's like a normal function. You have a function and you pass in parameters or arguments to the function, and now this function, it takes a callback. So what is a callback? Callback is nothing but a piece of code that gets executed when this function is done. If you recall, JavaScript, we outsource this function, we pass it on to somebody else to handle, and when that somebody else is done with that function, is done executing that piece of code, they come back to us, they come back to JavaScript, it comes back to JavaScript and tells JavaScript, hey, I'm done. So this is the piece of code that JavaScript should execute when the function is done. So I pass in a function error. So this particular function, this one, it gives out one parameter, if there was an error or not. We outsource the task. If the task was successfully completed, there would be no error. So if no error, console.log successfully finished the task. Else, if there was an error, if something did go wrong, console.log something went wrong. It could be any reason. There's not enough memory left, you don't have permission to write to that particular folder. There could be any number of reasons, but this is the basic syntax. The function, you pass in the normal parameters if it takes any parameters, and then the callback function. It's just a function. It can take one or two arguments normally. One argument is data and the other is normally error, but this thing, it does not return any data, so it does not take in data. See, no param callback, error, Node.js exception. See, do you see the hint over here? So it does not provide any data, it only has a callback for error. So if there is no error, successfully finish the task, else something went wrong. So this is the very basic syntax of a callback function. Let's execute our code, node1.js. And now see, starting file, right? Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong folder. And now let's execute our code. Let me change directory, node1.js, and we get successfully finished the task. Now you may ask, why are we passing a callback? Why do we even need a callback? That's a very good question. The answer is, now how do I know that the task has been completed? I want to perform something after the task is completed. Now say if I put this over here, console.log hopefully runs after the file write. I want this line of code to get executed after my friend, after JavaScript's friend is done with this task. So I want a guarantee. I want some guarantee in the execution order. Let me run it again. See, hopefully runs after the file write, but no, see, it runs before the file write. There's no way to guarantee order. Now, think of a website or think of any application where the ordering is very necessary. You're loading a file. You can't show the content of the file before the file loads, before the file read completes. You cannot show file saved until the file has been saved, right? The order should be guaranteed. And asynchronous programming, you're outsourcing the work to somebody else. So two things or even more than two things are happening at the same time. So we need a way to guarantee the order of execution, and this is where callbacks come in. So this callback function will always run after this task has been done. That's the rule. So after JavaScript's friend is done with the task, JavaScript executes this callback. So there might be many more lines in this program. This task is outsourced to a friend. JavaScript may be on this line. JavaScript may be executing this line. So what happens, this friend comes back, hey JavaScript, I'm done with the task. And then JavaScript will take up the result, the error and data, whatever the friend has passed back to JavaScript. It'll collect it from the friend and execute this piece of code. So after this line of code, JavaScript directly jumps to this piece of code, finishes this, and then comes back to finish the remaining tasks. This was a very simple example. Now let's have a look at a more complex example where we involve maybe two file writes or maybe even multiple operations. Just remember one thing: callbacks, promises, async await, they all are to ensure some sort of execution order. After this happens, do this. The second example, let me make a new file, 2.js. We'll be making a network call. You'll have to install this package on your system, npm install request and -g. I've already done it, so I won't execute this command. npm install request -g. So let me do this. Const request is equal to require request. Just importing the package request, my favorite example site, example.com. Now I pass in another callback. I could write function, or the more modern way would be to use an arrow function. They both serve the same purpose, so it doesn't matter as of now. Error, response, and body. You notice this callback function takes in three parameters: error, response, and body. So while outsourcing the task, when the friend comes back, he gives us three parameters: error, response, and body. So let's start writing some code. If there is an error, if there is some error, I console log something went wrong, and let's print out the error as well. So I've made a small mistake here. Since I've used a normal function, I should do it this way. And let me return as well, so that it comes to an end. Console log the body. It's one callback again. We'll expand on it in a bit. Node 2.js. Let me just check it out. And you have the content of example.com on your command line. It's working as expected. Let's test an example where it does not work. I add some random characters at the end of the string, end of the domain name, and we now get an error. Something went wrong. Address not found. We basically check for the error here. And where do you get this error response body? From the respective documentation. So you can just Google a Node.js request callback. You can just Google it, and maybe this GitHub repository, you can open it. Look, you have the example right here: request function error response body. Let's change it back to example.com. So this is one callback now. Now I want to write the content of this file, the content of example.com to a file. And when can I write the content of example.com to a file? Only when I get the content, right? Unless I get the content, how will I write it to a file? So I need some sort of way to guarantee the order of execution. And how do I do that? We know one thing for sure. Only one thing is guaranteed. This function, this callback function, the statement inside this function are executed after this function is done with. That is guaranteed. So what is the safest way to guarantee that the file write takes place after the network call, after talking to example.com? It's obviously writing it inside here. So let me do that. Let me delete this. Again, const fs equal to require fs, and let us write this fs dot write file example.html, and the body, the content is this thing, body. So let me write body, and when that is done, if you recall, this function takes in only one argument, and when it's done writing, if error on return console.log something went wrong while writing the file. Else we console log successfully written. You see this? If there is an error when making the request, when talking to example.com, we close the function here. So there is this another function inside our main callback function. You have the request, the main function, not the main function, the starting point basically. You have a callback inside it. Inside the callback, see, it's a part of the callback. This thing is a part of this callback. After the network call has been made, we go inside this and write to a file called example.html. We write the body. Let's try out our code. And we get successfully written. Let us check it, and we have example.html with example.com's HTML. You see the problem here. Now we have a function nested inside another function. Now what if I want to do something after the file has been successfully written? What if I want to do something after that? I have to write to guarantee the execution order. I have to write that inside this function. Let's say I make a call to another website, say csjourney.com, function error response body. Again we have if error return console.log could not talk to csjourney.com. And if I want to write this to a file again, I need a function like this again over here, fs.write file csjourney.html, write the body, another callback function with the error, if error return console.log something went wrong, console.log. If nothing went wrong, csjourney successfully written to file. You see this? Just to have 4 simple operations, talk to example.com, write it to a file. After that is done, talk to csjourney.com and write it to a file. This is a very common use case. You might be fetching data from 2 sources and combining them. You'll have to write this callback. Only after both are done, you can proceed with combining both the data sources. Let's run our code. And we have this HTML and we have example.com. This is called callback hell. We have a callback inside another callback, inside another callback, inside another callback. It's very crazy and very difficult to read. It's very hard to maintain such code. Now imagine if you need to perform 10 steps and you need to guarantee the order of execution. You'll have to keep nesting it inside, inside, and inside. It keeps getting deeper and deeper. This is what programmers refer to as callback hell. And also notice, we have to handle the errors in each step. This step might go wrong. There might be some issue here. We have to handle the error here. This step might go wrong. We have to handle the error here. Even the error handling it's kind of painful and tedious. Now let's see the same example, the same code, the same functionality, using synchronous JavaScript. So I make a new file called 3.js. For this example, you'll have to install this package, npm install. Let me enlarge it, sorry. Npm install sync request. I've already done it, so please do it on your system. So once that's done, let's start writing some code. I first want to talk to example.com. So let me const import the package require sync request. The package name is different. I'm trying to convert this asynchronous code into synchronous code to demonstrate how difficult it is to read asynchronous code. So we have a different package. It's called sync request. The normal package request does not support synchronous requests. So I'm just importing this package const fs equal to require fs. This is to write files. So the first thing, example response is equal to request https example.com. You also need to specify it's a get request. It has a different syntax than this. To read more about it, you could just Google Node.js sync request and you have the first link here. You have some examples here, and this is what I'm exactly doing actually. Request get. So that is done. Do you see it has no callbacks? It waits for this to finish. It is not skipping, it is not jumping, it is not doing multiple things at the same time. It is waiting for this to finish. And then I do this fs.write file synchronous. You have another function called write file synchronous, which waits for the file write to complete. It waits for the operation to complete and then moves forward. It does not jump. It does not do multiple things at the same time. And we can do example.html. And what should be right? Example.response.get body. See, it takes no callback. After that, after these two operations are done, I want to fetch the content of csjourney.com. So csjourney response is equal to request get https csjourney.com. After that, I want to write it to a file. Write file sync csjourney.html csjourney response.get body. The syntax has changed a bit because we are using different libraries. We use request here, and over here we're using sync request. But the difference in idea should be apparent now. We have 4 lines of simple code here. This is the synchronous version, which goes line by line, waits for it to complete. And this is the asynchronous version where you perform the same 4 operations, but you see how complicated this is. This is the recommended way since JavaScript is single threaded. But this works as well. Let's run our code. node3.js. And it's working. You have callback example. Sorry, you have csjourney.html and example.html. Do not worry, we have quite a few ways to handle asynchronous code. We have promises, we have async await, and we have a host of other tricks as well. And these methods are a lot better than using callbacks. See you in the next video.